Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Mr. Frunk from Mr. Frunk Gaming. I'm here to bring you guys an updated True Draco deck profile for the May 2019 format. This one is going to be a lot different than what you're normally seeing when it comes to True Draco. I am running an extra deck, so without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so obviously monster counts. You're going to have 2 Inspector Borders. Just a really good card going first. It's actually helped me go in second a couple times. You could side it out if you could find 2 other cards. If you wanted to run it in your main, you can run 2 Amanos in the main and side the borders. Just to give you guys some options. Of course, we're going to run the 1 Dynamite Knight. He searches the trap cards for the True Dracos. You can either add them to your hand or activate them. So it's a good way to play around Colossus or even Denko. And then we have 3 Ignis, staple. I've seen some people running it at 2. I think 3 is the right number. You really want to see Ignis. He's a fire, so he really helps out with the Salamangreat matchup, trying to OTK with the Violet Chimera, which I will show you guys later. He searches the True Draco spells. You can either activate him or add him to your hand, of course. And he's really good to play around Colossus or Denko as well. And then we have 2 Maidens. Maiden's pretty good. She's the searcher of the monsters. You can search any True Draco monster from your deck to your hand. She doesn't really play around Colossus or Denko. Well, Denko really doesn't affect her, but she does not really play around Colossus very well. She's literally there just as like a searcher for me. So sometimes I use her for a link material. Sometimes I use her just as just to get her body on board, but I normally don't try to use her effects too often. And yes, guys, it is the extra deck version. So we do run one of the big boys, the Metaltron, the True Draco Combatant. He is just absolutely broken within the deck. If you contribute a spell, trap, and monster, he's unaffected by any of those types. He's also, when he's destroyed by battle or card effect from your opponent, he gets to special summon any, I think it's earth, water, wind, fire, any of those types of fusions, synchros, or exceed monsters from your extra deck. Pretty much on resolution, him getting destroyed. So he's really broken. He really helps you facilitate a lot of those extra deck plays, gives you a lot more options in the grind game as well. So there we have it, guys. There's our monster count. Pretty standard in my opinion, just adding in the Metaltron and actually adding back the Inspector Borders into the main. I think he's just too good not to have in your main, but like I said, it's my personal preference. You can take him out if you don't enjoy him or if you think he's bricky, because sometimes he can be a brick, but that just gives you a fodder to hit diagram and search something that you need. Essentially in True Dracos, nothing's supposed to be a brick, because you can always get rid of it. But moving on to the spells, guys, we have a pretty standard lineup. We have 3 Disciples. It's the shuffle 3 back from the graveyard and draw a card. Also gives you an additional tribute summon. We have True Draco Heritages. This is the ultimate draw power. If you send a trap, spell, and monster of True Draco or True King, you get to draw 3 cards. Also gives you an extra tribute summon. Really good card. And then we have a Dragonic Diagram, the field spell. Really good, facilitates all the plays, probably one of the better field spells in the whole game. And then of course 2 Terraforming, so we have 5 copies of Diagram. Okay, and that's all for the True Draco spells. But now we get into our bigger draw engine. We have 3 Card of Demise. This card allows you to draw pretty much 3 cards freely during your main phase 2 or going first, and it helps you just better extend your plays. Then we have 2 Pot of Dualities. This card can hurt you in this version of the deck because you do special summon. On a more true Draco pure, I guess, you don't really special summon, so you just normally tribute summon, so it kind of doesn't hurt you as much. But in this version, Pot of Duality, you got to be kind of smart when you use it. Just don't use it and don't expect to special summon afterwards on the same turn. And then just 1 Upstart Goblin to round out the extra draws. He just, give your opponent 1,000 life points to draw an extra card. Sometimes that extra card can either make or break you and can win you or lose you the whole match. So just play him as however you want him, really. I mean, honestly, there's no bad way to go about playing the draw powers. You could actually just load your extra deck up with a lot of stuff that you don't plan on going into, and then just really using like Pot of Extravagance. Then we got our our traps. We have 3 True Draco Apocalypse. That one's the one that allows you to tribute summon during your opponent's main phase, and it also, you can pop another True Draco card you control, and it halves the attack and defense of all your opponent's monsters. You also have the True King's Return. It's the Call of the Haunted, but the continuous one. It special summons one from the grave in defense position. I normally like to use it during my my end phase or my opponent's end phase, just to get a monster out on board. Alright, this is some of the new stuff that differs from my first video. We have 3 lose 1 turns. I did take out Monarch's Erupt because I do have an extra deck, and I was thinking to myself, what card can I put in here that still is like a floodgate that doesn't hurt me too bad? Lose 1 turns. Sorry guys. Lose 1 turns are probably the best one. It does not affect normal or tribute summon monsters at all. It just affects special summon monsters. The turn that they're special summoned, they get put into defense position. 2, they can't attack, and 3, their effects are negated for the turn that they are summoned. So, and you can't activate this card if you control any special summon monsters. So you have to be careful about when you activate this, and just know that after activation, if you try to special summon, it will get put in defense position, and you won't be able to use its effects or attack. So just be careful. And then we have 3, there can only be ones. This card is pretty much a staple in the True Dracos. Sometimes you can just grind it out with just one monster, which is bigger than their monster. It states that you can only control one type of monster. You can only control one type of each monster, and since we only have Worm and some of the extra deck stuff, good thing is like you can run this card, an Inspector Boarder, and a True Draco monster, and you'll run just fine. And then our sorry guys, got a little bit of a cold. We have 2 Solemn Strikes. Solemn Strikes really helped out in like the Subterra matchups, or any matchup that a monster is special summoned, or when they start activating a lot of their effects. Just, always have that set Solemn Strike if possible. Here we go guys, the Crackdowns, one of the new cards that come out of Dark Neostorm, probably one of the best cards in this version. This card right here helps you make Metaltron super easily. You just set it, and like during the end phase of their turn, just play it, steal their monster, and it's a continuous mind control pretty much. And you just have it on your turn, and this is a continuous trap. You'd have their monster, as long as you had a True Draco spell, you can tribute all 3 of them and get Metaltron out, and he would be immune to everything. So that's just really something nice. And to round it out, it wouldn't be a True Draco deck without Stormy Mirror Force. And that's pretty much it for the main deck. It's pretty much, I changed a few things up, but I think I changed it for the better. So, but after that, I guess we can move on to the extra deck. Hey guys, sorry about that. I had to go get some water. My throat was getting so dry. Before I get to the extra deck, I do want to point out that if you guys want to run some alternatives into the deck, if you want to go ahead and get Spectre Boarder into the side, go ahead and run like something like Solemn Judgment then. Just a good overall out to a lot of problematic cards. The only reason I do not run this is because paying the half your life points if you have 8,000 could cost you the game in time, but it's still a really good alternative if you want something that really helps. Or you can run like double Waterfall of Dragon Souls, searches out a worm monster, and it's also a good out for like Widow Anchors and Afterburners. You just target one of your own worm monsters, destroy it, and draw 2 cards. So it's actually a really good card. But now we'll get to the extra deck. Now there's going to be some spicy stuff in here, guys, and I'm planning on doing some sort of combo, or just trying to talk through some of the plays for each card. But that's going to be in a video tomorrow because it'll take me a long time to do it tonight. But anyways, we start off with some of the targets for Metaltron. Metaltron can actually bring out Neteria Exterio out, which is a good out for any kind of heavy spell or heavy trap deck. It's a really good card, guys. Alright, going up next, this is actually going to be a super poly target. This is Predaplant Dragostapella. This takes 2 let me just see here. One fusion and one dark monster. So I mean, this is good against Thunder Dragons. They put up Colossus, and another monster might be a dark. You just use Super Poly, get rid of that, and there you go. This is also another Super Poly target. This is the Salamangreat Violet Chimera. This is the OTK guy. So he is really beefy. There's a big play that, especially in the matchup against Salamangreats, whereas you can actually OTK your opponent with one of their own cards. So I mean, it's really nifty. And here we go, guys. This is probably the best Super Poly target I have. Is Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. As you see here, it's just 2 dark monsters except tokens on the field. So I mean, just take both of their Colossus, any problematic monsters like Orcus, Dengirsu, Galatea, all of them are dark. So you just take them, and then boom, there he is. All right, now some more of the actually things we can make naturally. We can make Hida, the Fire Charmer, because the only thing it takes is 2 monsters, including a fire monster, which I told you before, Ignis was very important, and this is the reason why. Because you can, especially let's say you do the mirror match or even the Salamangreat matchup or any matchup that they might have used Ash before, you make a Hida, and then on Hida's ability, when she's link summoned, you get to special summon a fire monster from your opponent's graveyard. So that's Sky Striker's Kagari, that's Ash Blossom, that's Ignis from a mirror match, that's any Salamangreat monster. I mean, or even I know Metal Foes are starting to come back, so it's any Metal Foes monster. So I mean, this card is really good. And also, when it's destroyed, it can search out a fire monster that has, I think it's less than 1,200, or I'd have to read it because it's not wanting to. It's less than 1,500 or less from your deck, and that's Ignis. So it's actually a searcher as well. Then we have something else we can make naturally is a Nightmare Phoenix. I actually made this against a Danger Orcus the other night, and he had left his Phoenix facing right here. So I made a Phoenix right here, and I was able to pop a back row, which was one of their Fog Blades, I think. And and I got the draw card because it was co-linked. So it was actually really, really good. And then here we go. We have a Salamangreat Heatleo. I have Heatleo in here for the Hita and the other, if it can resurrect a fire monster from your opponent's graveyard, you can use both of them into Heatleo. Or you can even do something more spicy, as in you use Crackdown on your opponent's Heatleo in the Salamangreat matchup. And you then summon a monster, any monster you can, and then you use both of them and the Heatleo to go into this copy of Heatleo, and then it's reincarnated Link Summon. So you actually get to, that's how you facilitate the OTK. You just need, a fire, any sort of monster. You need to have Crackdown their Heatleo, and you need Violet Chimera, and then you pretty much OTK them for game. Just some rank 4s, just because we don't want to get Ojama trioed or Ojama duoed, or we don't want to have all these extra tokens. So if your opponent decides to start giving you a bunch of stuff, go ahead and use them for link 4s, like Borreload. Really good card. I don't think I need to explain what it does. Nightmare Griffin is actually a really good card. Say that you have a Floodgate in the grave. So if he's summoned, you just discard, and then you can actually just set one of your spell or trap cards. It just can't be activated this turn. So it's a good way to set one of your Floodgates from the grave. Some more Metaltron targets. We have the Crystal Wing, a great card against hand traps. Also gains the attack of any monster that's level 5 or above. So he's all in all a very good option. All right, we have a Stardust Warrior. Another good one. Not a lot of people run him, but he has this Omni Negate that when a card is special summoned, you get to contribute him, and then it pretty much destroys that monster. And if you use that effect, you'd actually bring them back, and you can just keep doing it over and over again, unless they impermanence or whatever it may be. And then we have probably one of the biggest monsters in the whole deck, the Super Heavy Samurai Steam King Train. The good thing about all the Super Heavy Samurais, when they're in defense position, they can still attack and use their defense as the calculation. And if you can focus here, it's got 4,800 defense. So this card is a big body. It's attacking when it's in defense, so you're not taking any damage either. And plus, it's also got some really nifty effects. You can discard 2 cards and destroy that many cards on the field. And then it also has, you can banish all the spell and traps in the grave. And then each player takes 200 for each one they banished. So, I mean, against the Sky Striker matchups or any other heavy spell, heavy trap decks, you can pretty much burn them per game. And now we'll do the another thing that we can make naturally using like 2 Ignis or an Ignis and a Maiden. This is number 61 Volcasaurus. And then his effect is you detach a material, target 1 monster, and you destroy it, and your opponent takes equal to their original attack as damage. And it's pretty nifty. You can win in time with that card. And then you can actually make, what is this, Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. And now this guy, you can use any rank 5 or 6 Exceed monster as material and just transfer the materials to him. So I overlay him onto Volcasaurus. And the cool thing about him is you can do Volcasaurus during the main phase, right? And then you overlay, enter battle phase. And then this guy here can actually do piercing damage. So say if they have a set card and a face-up card, you've already used Volcasaurus to pop the face-up, and they took damage from that. And then you have Gaia the Thunder Charger here overlaid, and then you attack that defense position, and they take the piercing. I mean, you can win some games. I've made it once just to deal some damage before time, and I ended up winning. I don't know if it was really because of this card dealing any more damage, but I think the majority of it was because of Volcasaurus' effect to actually deal that much damage as well. And then the last card in the extra deck, guys, and this is kind of like this is going to kind of spoil what I have in my side deck to show you. This is Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon. Everybody knows how to get this card out. You use Waking the Dragon, and then you summon him. Pretty much any other card that you can think of, you can pretty much summon with Waking the Dragon. And with True Dracos, most of your opponents want to pop your back row, so go ahead and let them pop it, recklessly or carelessly, and let them hit your Waking the Dragon, because it's just going to turn around and bite them in the butt. Because this card right here is unaffected by all other cards. It's 3,500 attack, and it is just the ultimate Falcon. I mean, I can't say anything more about it. It's a win con for the deck, and it's really, really, really strong. But that's it for the extra deck. There's a lot of other targets you can do with Metaltron. There's a lot of other targets for Super Poly, and there's even some more targets for, Waking the Dragon that you could run. So if you prefer another card over another, then go ahead and run it, guys. I mean, make it your own. This is just my personal build, but you guys feel free to make changes, change it up, make your own variant, and then, tell me what you did, and even post a video on YouTube, because I would love to check it out. Now for the side deck. This card did not change. We run, of course, 2 spear modes because I actually saw this video the other day. He said we run spear modes because boards be crazy. Boards do be crazy, so we need to run spear modes. What you do is you just use 3 of their monsters and you just give them a ball that can attack, can't be targeted for attack. Pretty much they have to just tribute it off or link it away. And then we have 2 Super Poly, of course, for our Super Poly targets. Really good. I always side this in, going second and third. Going into the second and third rounds, I should say. People are not expecting it. People are not expecting an extra deck True Draco, period. So when you start adding in all this extra stuff like Super Polys or Waking the Dragon, it really catches people off guard. And then the MVP of the side deck is just 2 Dark Bribes. I was going to run it at 3, but I just was having a hard time finding space. Dark Bribe is just it's like nope, try again, because you negate pretty much anything. Spell, trap, it don't matter. And then your opponent gets a draw card, but against Twin Twisters, they've already discarded. So it's kind of like they didn't get to pop anything. They still had to discard, but yes, they get the draw, but it works out. 2 evenly matches. That's probably self-explanatory. Going second, you just need evenly matched, especially in the mirror, because you just don't want to be like going against a very big board. Like say, I don't know, because a lot of people can negate evenly matched. It's one of those cards that's losing its power coming into this new format, like the break my board format, I would like to call it, because you have this card, and normally this was the card that won you games. You just played evenly matched, and you just pretty much your opponent had no way out. But your opponent now can Dark Bribe it, they can Gamma Seal it, they can pretty much have so many outs for it. They could do wiretaps, solemn judgments, I mean pretty much anything. Now for the Sky Striker or Pendulum matchups, we run the package here. 1 Imperial Order because it's at 1, and 2 anti-spells. You have to, because Sky Strikers are still a thing, even with Kagari at 1. And Pendulum decks are starting to get very popular, especially with that new structure deck. I've actually played against a few of them, and they are pretty serious and pretty deadly and outright scary, honestly. So you have to be prepared for them. Still kind of the same spice I had in it, 2 summon limits. I'm thinking about taking them out because after everything I actually have in my deck, like summon limits are one of the things that I hardly ever side in, because there's like with all the rest of the floodgates I run, like my opponent's probably not going to be summoning more than twice per turn anyways. Summon limits kind of just putting the icing on the cake or putting the cherry on the sundae, just trying to be like, you thought you were going to do anything? Drop this card? No, you're really not now. I mean, so it's kind of just like an extra precaution. And then, of course, Waking the Dragon. This card right here, obviously, is for Ultimate Falcon. You run 2. I mean, like I said, it can summon other things out as well. Any card, pretty much any card from the deck or extra deck. Sorry about that, guys. My camera just said no focus today, so I just needed to reset it real fast so it can show you. Yeah, but Waking the Dragon, guys, it resolves in the grave or when it's banished. When this card is destroyed by your opponent, whether it be destroyed, banished, or whatever, it resolves and you get to special summon. So the only 2 things in my knowledge that can really stop Awakening the Dragon, you know, if you haven't already run like a Royal Decree or just something, Imperial Iron Wall, or just something that's going to stop you from actually getting rid of it in the first place, is Solemn Warning, I believe Judgment, and Ash Blossom. But if you don't have either 3 of them, it's pretty much game over, because you're not going to be able to get over Ultimate Falcon easily, and you're going to exert a lot of resources into outing Ultimate Falcon, and it's probably going to cost you the game. Even if you can get over Ultimate Falcon, we're still playing Yu-Gi-Oh! On our side, building more monsters that are going to be able to out whatever you just made. But anyways, guys, this was my updated True Draco deck profile with an extra deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know you guys really liked the last profile. I want to make as much competitive profiles as I can. I'm going to start a budget series as well. I've already been talking to some guys I hang out with, and we all about the budget because, you know, we all got families and kids and stuff. So, I mean, budget's really where it's at. So, if you like the video, please comment, like, and subscribe. And if you haven't already, click the bell so you can be part of the notification squad so you can see when I post new content. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.